Hello, and this week in Pimp My Diecasts I've mainly been concentrating on this old and shabby corgi VW beetle, and it's the Whiz Wheels flavour. And this time round I'm going to be concentrating more on improving my paint finish, which I have done. I know the result, obviously. And there we are, spun into action. And here I am, using a centre punch on the rivets, give a straight drill in, allegedly, and doing the rear one. Those are the Regal Idle sin, I've already had one go. Anyway, we're having another go. Get it nice and established. And first I'm using a 1.7mm drill and drilling in to the depth I want the screws to go. And it didn't go to plan because I thought it was a 1.7mm drill and it was a bigger drill and the tap were too big, so I end up using rivet. Taking me measure would have been a good, but there we've drilled out the rivets and split it. The suspension was long shot, so that's getting bent because it's getting a wheel change anyway. I bought a set of wheels and they were what actually made me decide on building this casting. And there's an hole in the roof. I'm going to countersink that for filling. It's not going to be a police car. And there we have it, put a countersink in for the filler. And there I was countersinking, but it was miles too big. Anyway, here I'm stripping the paints off, or I would be, but I only ended up putting the caustic in. I forgot to film having the hot water put in. Yeah, how it goes sometimes. I'm getting old and senile. Sold and senile. And the caustic marbles will come along any second. And there we go. Have a fair filling. And it still didn't take the stickers off the doors. I had to scrape them off and sand them. But here, I got a set of Ross Styles off eBay. And I knew VW. I thought, what should I use them on? And then I thought, VWs had Ross Styles at one point, so it's getting Ross Styles. Because I thought they looked really good on them. Beetles, they were a really tidy wheel on Beetles. And here I'm cutting tube for sleeving. And you won't believe it, I bought a piece I thought I needed from eBay. It was in China. I thought that's going to take ages. Didn't take as long as I thought, but because I thought it'd take ages, I got 2 alloy tubes from Britain, and they weren't the right inside diameter, so I had to drill them out, and it didn't work drilling them out. And then I discovered I had the right size tube in all along in my metal stash. The things you do. Anyway, here I'm mixing up some JB weld to set the axles in. And it was very old opened JB weld, and it just would not cure. so it got ripped out again, and I redid it with super glue at a later date. Actually, I redid it with super glue and new tubing, because that's the alloy tubing. So I used new tubing. Well, there's a couple of things I've been practicing on. The main thing I'm practicing on now, because I've slowed down with my channel really. I've started it up and there's no way I'm going to be like I were before. I'm too old for that sort of shit. I'm just going to post as and when I feel like it. And I'm slowing down and taking my time on builds to get the preparation nicer, to give nicer paint job. And I think I'm pretty much 90% there. I've got a good paint job, but it still has its faults, so I'm going to be slowing down again on my next one and concentrate on what I'm doing. You can see my liver spotted hand there. Another thing with getting age, I've got bloody liver spots. I feel like Montgomery Burns. But there, I'm just levelling out the JB weld and making sure it's sealing the axle in. Not that it has to be that tough. It's only going to be a display model, but there we go, splash a bit more on. As Henry said in the bro adverts, splash it all over. There we go, nothing beats the great smell of bro. Pity it didn't set, but there you go. And here I've put a bit of super glue inside the roof, and I'm going to be using a bit of paper for backing. For the what I used is JB Weld originally, and it's good stuff, but I think it's because of the age of it, or I didn't put enough hardener in or whatever, but it just wouldn't harden. Just didn't want to play the game. So I bought a tub of car filler, and there we have that with the result. A nicely filled roof, and it's getting here. It's getting Games Workshop Citadel Wraithbone primer. It's getting a white, because I thought orange will go better. As it happened, out the peg cupboard, I did black would have been okay. But I thought, because it's orange, not usually enough colour, I thought I'll do a white underneath for it to cover better. And anyway, here I'm wire brushing the chassis. And the interior I'm going to spray black. It's Games Workshop, I think it's Chaos Black primer. So that's getting a good old spray. So I've spread it underneath as well, so if you can see underneath the car it's blacked out. Instead of showing red, you can't as it goes, but anyway, and here we go. I've given the primer a good enough time to dry. Give it 24 hours and I wet and dried it. I'm using 1200s wet and dry. I may have lower, well, a higher grade than 1200s. And here we're starting on the colours. All the colours I use are Createx. The first colour coat I'm putting on is Createx Pearl Tangerine, and it's mixed with Createx. Let's have a look. Let's see it. Cosmic Copper. It's like a sparkle. I thought it was a sparkle additive, but it's actually a colour on its own. But I mixed the two together and it's given an unusual one. Then on top I put Createx Hot Rod Sparkle. It doesn't show up on good on orange. It shows up better on darker colours. But it's still there, you can still see the bits of sparkle in right lights. It's very punchy on dark colours though. I don't know, I may not have shaken them up the bottle enough. But there you can see the sparkles in the paint. And that was just quick touching up. There I'm putting the glass back in. All I did was dip it, it didn't need polishing. It was in very good condition, so it just got dipped. There's the interior going back in. And here I'm cutting down the axles for the other wheel to go on. It's fed through the tube okay. I just need to cut down the axles for the other wheel to go on the other side. And there I've already compressed it and put a nick, so we're just tweaking it with the pliers to break it. And I did the same there, and I give it a good old hard squeeze, and it pinged off across the room. And I found the tyre were off the axle, because they're not really firm on tyres, these. They're only made for display purposes, not for play. And there it is, super gluing it on. And here, because I drilled the holes too big, I'm using some rivets I had in my stash. I have a couple of different sized rivets, just in case. And anyway, there's where we finished up. Like I say, I've been spending my time trying to improve my paint, slowing my build down. It's very like a jeans VW Beetle, the ones that had the denim interior in. But it's come up really nice from what it was, I think. I think I'm getting there with the paint. It's not. There's one area where it's not quite perfect. Put in the cup. Well, there's two areas where it's not quite perfect. If you spot them, put it down in the comments. But I know where they are. I did it. Apart from the headlamps, they're a bit shaky because I think I'm going to start cutting masks before I paint for headlamps and stuff. Well, here we go. The depth of the shine on the paint now. I'm getting there is what I'm saying. Not quite as shiny as the window, but my paint is getting there. There is a lot of depth to that. More so if you look at it with your naked eye than on film. But you can make out all the individual LEDs on my lighting rig when it zips across it, so It's getting there is what I'm definitely saying. It's got more shine than Right Said Fred said. Anyway, if you've enjoyed what you've watched, please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Why the hell not? If you're one of my subscribers, thanks for sticking with me. And all I have to say in a moment when it comes around is tatty pie. And it's not for a minute, we've got a minute to glance at it. But I think the colour's nice, and I think I'm starting to nail finishes now. It's just that slowing myself down and not putting myself on a target that I have to get a video out, which I'm content to do. I prefer having it nice than targeting a video slot. Anyway, tatty pie, people. Tatty pie.